All right, welcome back, you guys. We just recorded the first part of the class, a very small part of the class, but we're back with your Emotions and Essential Oils class, and I'm going to start the slide deck so we can all get and hear me talk a little bit. So thank you to Liz and Terry for letting me know that you could not hear me. That was very, very helpful. All right, so in our class today, Emotions and Essential Oils, we are going to talk about a lot of things related to emotions and how essential oils can support those emotions. This is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. When I started using essential oils, it was really to help support my physical health. I started making essential oil blend to clean my house. I made things to support my immune system. I thought the oils were pretty cool because they smelled really pretty. But it wasn't until I was using oils for at least 6 months that I realized the emotional benefit of using essential oils for my emotional health. And I found that, you know, the power of not only cleaning up my physical environment, but also my internal environment was a critical part of that whole body wellness, which I'm going to dive into the class today. So for those of you who don't know me, these are just a couple pictures to introduce you to me. I think everyone watching the video live right now does know me and is exposed to some of the work I do. But for those of you watching the recording or unfamiliar with me, I'm a registered dietitian and a mindful eating coach. I reside in Cheyenne, Wyoming currently, but my husband, being in the Air Force, I have lived in several different locations and then probably will live in several more locations before the end of his career. You can see us pictured in the center picture there, and the family pictures we got done this fall with my daughter Maya, who happens to be the center of my world currently. And then my doTERRA family is pictured up at the top. These are just a few of the wonderful people I get to work with doTERRA essential oils, which I'll be talking more about today at convention a couple years ago. So I love that picture of us standing out in front of the doTERRA stuff, or the doTERRA sign. If you guys know me already, you know that I'm incredibly passionate about health and wellness. You recognize, or you've been in a class that I've taken, and I know one of you actually went to school with me when I achieved my master's degree in functional medicine and human nutrition. So I'm really passionate about wellness, and the part of the wellness picture I'm going to talk about today is our emotional wellness, and of course talking about how our precious essential oils can support that. So that's kind of my greater mission, is to help give tools to those who are ready to take the next step with their health to feel better. And that's what we're going to dive into today. So in this class, we're going to talk a lot about the science behind emotions and essential oils. I'm also going to share some tools and habits for healthy body chemistry and some practical emotional wellness steps that you can take today using your essential oils that can support your wellness. So I believe this is the slide where everyone told me that they couldn't hear me. So this is one of my favorite slides, and I think this is a foundational slide because it really encapsulates my personal philosophy on health, which is this concept and idea that we are created to function as a whole being, mind, body, and spirit included. We have to nourish each area of this triangle to have total health. You know, we can do a lot to keep our body physically healthy, but if we're neglecting the health of our spirit and our mind, it's not uncommon for people to suffer in some type of what turns out to be a physical manifestation of disease because of that neglect of the other two areas of the pyramid here. And just likewise, if we're really focusing on the mind, but we're not taking care of the body and eating nourishing foods and exercising, we again fall short in terms of what our potential is for full body health and wellness. So, and you guys may already know this, but your body is made up of trillions and trillions of very intelligent little cells, and they are wired to restore health. It's my very deep belief that our body wants to reach balance, also known as homeostasis. And we can give it the tools to foster that balance. We also, I should mention, we also should know that our body is also made up of even more bacteria that work in synchronicity with our cells to restore and or take away from our health. So we are not just this human sitting here. We are made up of very, very small components called cells and bacteria as well. Some scientists estimate that we have up to 2 or 3 times more bacteria on our bodies than we do human cells, which is very interesting. And that can play into our emotional health as well. So emotions themselves, and I thought this was such a unique concept when I was first taught about this, but emotions, so the thoughts and the feelings we have around a particular situation, are actually information carrying molecules that bind and react with receptors on our cells. So you can see this picture here, the cell, it has a receptor. These are what the graphic here is sharing with you is an emotion. It gets into the cells and it can actually impact cell function and behavior, which is very interesting. And I'm sure you guys have all experienced this in one way or another when you, I always think about when I was a teenager and I had to take a big test, you know, the muscles in my digestive system would just like tense up and I could feel just this icky feeling in my stomach, or before I raced a track meet, I would always feel really ill. And those are really visceral feelings that I remember. They still happen today. You know, the first time I fell in love, or a lot of our firsts tend to be emotions that we carry strong memory with, but I'm sure you can identify for yourselves how emotions directly interact with your physical being. They're processed throughout the entire body. So a lot of us think that emotions just happen in our head, but quite the opposite. Emotions are processed through every single cell and organ system in our body. So when we're looking at that whole picture, the one that I showed at the beginning of the slide deck, you know, it's just to be reminded that emotions are a very important part of our overall health, just as important as it is to nourish ourselves with healthy food or healthy movement, get enough sleep. Controlling and taking care of our emotional health makes a huge impact on the bigger picture. So I like to look at the 3 brains. This is a great picture, and I think you guys will like how these 3 different brains of our body interact with each other. But we have scientific evidence now that shows us there are complex neural processing functions in these 3 areas of the body, to include the mind, the heart, and the gut. Okay. For so long, I spent learning about our gut, our gut brain, and many of you may have heard of the mind-gut connection. It's kind of a hot topic in the news. People are talking about how the different bacteria in our gut can affect our health. And it's also interesting to note that our gut is the place where about 90% of our body's serotonin and other feel-good chemicals are produced. So it's not uncommon that if you have an emotion, it's felt in the gut. And if you have gut bacteria that are off, or your gut is not as quote unquote healthy, it can affect the mind. So research has established that very well. In addition, our heart, also known as quote unquote our intuition, is an area of the physical body where there are more neural pathways that run from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart. So this is another important brain, one of the 3 brains that is very important in establishing health within the body. The mind, being the center for logic and intellect, directs over 90% of our behavior, but it very intimately connects with the heart and the gut. So the 3 in conjunction are all playing a role in our feelings and the emotions that we experience. So when we have connection between these 3 brains, we feel well, okay? And when we can connect the mind, the heart, and the gut, we have that connection. It equates to wellness in the body. So let's dive in a little bit deeper into emotions and your beliefs. So As mentioned before, your three brains instinctively are going to process every life experience. Okay, you have your mind processing the experience, your heart processing the experience, and your gut processing the experience. So this picture is one that I think a lot of women can relate to. Even if you don't have children, just the concept of having too much going on. Okay, so this is a picture of a mother or potentially a babysitter, you know, getting a phone call that's causing her stress, a crying baby in her arms, and then the dog wants to be let out. That can cause a lot of reactive emotions. Now, the brain mind, the brain is going to be the logic and intellect, right? I have to figure this out, okay? The heart is going to be a little bit more emotional. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling stressed. And the gut can process the emotion that this woman just had as this feeling of I'm stuck. You know, I can't go anywhere. I've got a baby in my arms. I've got my cell phone's going off, and my dog needs something, right? There's a lot going on in that picture. So our brain, our three brains, are going to work that out in just a slightly different fashion. So the reaction that we might have is some head tension. In our heart, we're going to have some conflicted feelings about how to move forward. And that I'm stuck feeling that our stomach processed is going to leave our physical, you know, digestive system feeling unsettled. And that reaction is going to leave us feeling disconnected. And that disconnected feeling is going to lead to a belief. So for this woman, her belief after reacting to the situation is, I'm not good enough. Okay. So a lot of us have been feeding certain beliefs based on our environment, on the processing functions of our mind, heart, and our gut, and we turn that process into a belief. So I'm not good enough is the belief that this woman has after experiencing and reacting to her situation. So this is just a bigger picture of what this looks like. We have the life experience, we process it through our three brains, we react, and then that results in a belief about ourselves. But just keep in mind that this belief in ourselves is the result of a reaction, and we have the power, and I'm going to teach you how to start to change these beliefs, how to process and react to our environment in a way that promotes beliefs that are more nourishing to wellness and to a connected mind, body, and spirit. So just kind of taking a moment here to think about how this might relate to you, and just thinking about, okay, what do I need to weed out? What beliefs do I have currently that are creating dis-ease in the body or disconnection in the body? It's important, I think, as a first line of defense in our emotional health, is to simply be aware of what's there, and with curiosity, not judgment, but with curiosity, start to identify, okay, what is it that is a belief I have? What is the story that's going on? And do I have, well, you do, but how do I weed it out? What do I need to do to weed this belief out of my body? And you guys at any time can use the Zoom chat to make comments. Again, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any insight or questions. Okay, so now we're going to get into, with that foundation of how emotions are processed in the three brains, we're going to talk about essential oils and supporting those healthy emotions. Okay, so as I discussed, there is a chemical reaction in the physical body when we process an emotion. Okay, and the emotion is a result of the belief that was created from the situation. I hope this is all making sense. And not only do emotions interact chemically, but so do essential oils. So it's important to recognize that not the same cell receptors, but there are cell receptors that interact with emotional chemical messengers, but also essential oils can interact with some of these little plugs or some of these little receptors on the cell. In fact, many of you might already know this, but when you put an essential oil on your skin and it's absorbed transdermally, it takes a few minutes, but those trillions and billions and trillions of molecules actually get into the body system within a few minutes. So essential oils, this is a picture of the wild orange essential oil, but they have a tendency to support healthy cell function. They tend to anchor healthy biochemistry, and they can promote not only the physical, but also emotional detox. So it's important to recognize essential oils, being this plant medicine, work really well synergistically with the cells of our body and can help us find that balance once again. So this is a picture of a magnified peppermint oil sac. And I like this picture because it shows us this little white globule here is actually where the essential oil sits on the leaf of the peppermint oil, okay? And it's important to note that this is just an essential oil basically is part of a plant's immune system, if you will, kind of like we have blood flowing in our body. A plant uses essential oils as a natural defense against environmental threats. It uses it as a signal to other animals to not eat it, perhaps, or to eat it. But it's important to note that this is an essential part of a plant's health and life. And if you are into health and wellness, you also know that eating more plants, eating a more plant-based diet can be beneficial for your health. So I love that we get these oils from the actual plants through distillation and cold pressing the plants in a specific way to maintain the integrity of the essential oil. So I mentioned this just previous to the slide, but now you can see it visually, but a single drop, okay, a single drop of oil contains 40 million trillion molecules. And just as the emotions tend to affect all of the different organ systems in the body, these little chemical compounds can service every single cell of our body in a matter of minutes. I find that really cool. Of course, I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide, but you guys understand the very, very important important decision when you're purchasing an essential oil, that you purchase a grade of oil that is therapeutically graded and even tested multiple times to ensure the chemistry, potency, and efficacy. I've had so many people I've worked with come to me and say, oh yeah, I use essential oils, whatever, and you know, they're fun, they smell nice. But it's not until they use a certified pure therapeutic grade oil that they realize just how powerful an essential oil can be in the emotional health, but also the physical health process. So as far as I know, doTERRA is still the only company on the planet that is testing their oils over 52 different tests to ensure purity and potency. But they're also doing good by the world and extracting the plants that are harvested in their natural habitat, which means the chemistry of the little droplet of oil is going to be that much stronger and that much more therapeutic on the body. So lavender grown in my backyard is not going to have the same chemical profile as that of the lavender grown in the natural habitat of Bulgaria and France. And that's where doTERRA gets its lavender, by example. They also, you know, they don't use middlemen. They have their own fields. They work directly with farmers. Actually, they don't own the fields. The farmers own the fields, but they work directly with them. So they're taking away that opportunity for there to be a lot of corruption, which there is in the essential oil industry, unfortunately, because of the rise of popularity of essential oils. A lot of companies are trying to cut corners, and it's leaving farmers destitute, crops over harvested. So you can be sure that when you're choosing doTERRA, you're buying your oils. I know all of you on this call have an account. You can be reminded that when you purchase an oil, you're not only getting the best chemistry, potency, and efficacy for your own health, but you're also supporting the health and wellness of farmers worldwide that are working with doTERRA to bring this product to us. So I can go into that later if you guys have questions. All right, so let's dive into how to use these oils for wellness. Are you guys like, okay, finally, geez, Beth. All right, so remember that essential oils are incredibly dynamic and they provide targeted support for you physically and emotionally. The first way that we use oils, and this is the probably like, I guess the least controversial way of using essential oils, is aromatically. Smell happens to be the fastest way to affect mood. When we, and I think you all, everyone on the call at least, has or uses a diffuser or knows what a diffuser is, it's a cool little device that basically you add the oils to some water locked in the container here. And through this ionizing process, the oils interlock with the water and they're sent up into the air and diffused into the air so that we can smell them. So what we don't always think about is how smell affects our mood. And it does so by unlocking this very little organ in our brain called our amygdala, okay? When we take in a breath and we smell our environment, whether that's an essential oil or not, we have direct access to the limbic area or the emotional seat of the brain. And the amygdala is part of that. And it's where emotions can be easily turned off or turned on by smells and scents carried in the air. So you might think of something that inspires happiness. I always think of my mom. When I was a little girl, she would cook chocolate chip cookies when I came home from school, right? And so even to this day, if I walk into somebody's home and I smell chocolate chip cookies, I'm immediately transported to that time in my life, that emotion of positive, feel good, yummy chocolate chip cookies with my mom. Excuse me. That instantly makes me feel better. Even if I walked into the house with a negative emotion, I'm going to feel better upon the smell of that chocolate chip cookie. So you can create those same experiences with essential oils that are related to memories. So you can smell an essential oil that reminds you of, you know, something in nature. Maybe you went camping when you were a kid, or you spent time on the beach and the scent of lang lang really reminds you of a tropical vacation you went on, or the scent of wild orange reminds you of orange, you know, fresh squeezed orange juice that you had at some point in your life. You know, there's that memory attachment that we have, but there's also, just as I mentioned and reiterated, the essential oils act not only through the memory, but also literal, there's a physical influence on the cells of the body as well. So citrus oils, as an example, well, here we'll use peppermint. Peppermint, as an example, has the aromatic compounds that we can use memories to feel better with peppermint, but there's a mental support and focus, as well as a supporting mental fog and emotional side of the use of peppermint that can be transformational. So the peppermint compounds, the volatile compounds in peppermint, actually interact with our brain chemistry to help dispel mental fog if we're feeling like stagnant or unable to work on a process at work or at home. Diffusing peppermint can be an incredibly powerful way to help lift the mental fog that might be created. I use peppermint a lot when I'm working on projects on my computer. Peppermint tends to uplift me, inspire me. I usually mix it with some citrus oils like wild orange or sometimes even lemongrass, and it's a very powerful shift in my emotional state around the work I'm doing on my computer. So again, experimenting with this with yourself. Peppermint's just a really all-around great oil. It has so many uses for our physical health, but here's one for mental health as well. Then we can also use oils topically. So still not as controversial as the last method I'm going to explain, but topical use of essential oils is generally very, very safe if the oils are well diluted, and a wonderful way to experience not only the emotional benefit and the smell, so that aromatic benefit of the oils coming off of the skin, but you're also going to have some transdermal absorption of the oils into the body, which can help support the physical body and the emotional body as well. If you like to apply oils topically, I do, like literally every day. I will take my balance or my wild orange and I'll dab it behind my ears or on my wrists, across the forehead. Another great place to topically apply essential oils is the bottoms of your feet. You have a lot of different reflexology points, which really, I'm not a Chinese medicine expert, but I've had received a lot of great results of putting oils on my feet. And some of these essential oils actually, after they're absorbed transdermally, they can actually pass into the blood-brain barrier. So they can affect that emotional state from a transdermal application or a topical application. I also love to apply essential oils over my heart, the insides of my wrists, or on the fleshy pockets behind my ears. That's probably where I put oils most commonly, is just right back here, right back behind my earrings. You'll notice, you guys, today I have diffuser earrings on. These are made of cork. So I put some citrus oils on my little cork earrings, and I can, when I'm moving my head around, I can smell wafts of citrus. And again, the citrus oils especially have a very uplifting effect on the mood. So topical application, once again, really great on the back of the neck, across the forehead, bottoms of the feet, heart, insides of wrists, behind the ears, and then also over the stomach area or the bottoms of the feet to help with emotional things going on in the gut. So we talked about that lady at the front end where she was feeling stuck in her digestive tract. She might apply an essential oil over her digestive tract when she feels those queasy feelings, those tense feelings, to help relieve the emotions that are going on in the gut. So just keep in mind, you have this brain, this heart, and this gut brain that all need attention. Not emotions don't just happen in the limbic system of the brain. They go all the way through the body. So this is an interesting, for topical use or aromatic use, Breathe essential oil is a blend that we commonly think of as an oil to help support our respiratory system when we have a sinus infection or a cold or asthma or something like that. It helps open the airways. And if you guys have ever put a drop of Breathe in your hand, stuck it up to your face, you'll notice immediately your respiratory system opens. So this oil tends to be especially useful for that person who is in a grieving state, because when we're grieving, what's happening to our breath? And anyone can type in the chat box if you know. What happens to our breath when we're under a state of duress in grief? Does the breathing become faster or slower? It usually becomes faster, right? And maybe more shallow, okay? When we're crying, when we're grieving, there's a lot of shallow breath. There's less oxygen exchange, which can lead to an emotional imbalance, right? We're breathing like this, and an essential oil like Breathe or even Peppermint put into the hands, very simply, just one drop put into the hands and inhaled for a couple minutes, will help us take deeper breaths. Okay, it will help open the respiratory system, which enhances oxygen exchange, which is something that we're going to need as we're working through that grief. And again, that physical benefit is actually going to emotionally support us as well, right? We take deeper breaths, we're opening the lungs, we're going to experience an emotional, not only a physical benefit from that inhalation process, or even that topical application. You could put some Breathe on your heart, on the bottoms of your feet, to help you move through the grief that you're working through. So I found this to be such a unique oil, because you wouldn't think of it as an oil for emotions. You'd think of it more of as an oil for, physical ailment. But remember, our physical body and emotional body are so intimately connected. So you can't really affect one side without affecting the other. Now, a lot of people question the use of internal essential oils, but I find when you're using a very high quality essential oil such as doTERRA, that's certified pure therapeutic grade, it can be very safely taken internally, okay, under the tongue in water. You can even get a little empty gel cap. It's called a veggie cap if you go to your doTERRA account, and that can be taken internally to help support overall health. Now, a lot of people will take oils internally to support their physical health, but keep in mind, when you're supporting your physical health, you're also supporting your your emotional health as well. So internal use is awesome. Now, one of the oils that I probably take internally the most often is On Guard. It's the protective blend that has wild orange, rosemary, eucalyptus, clove, and did I say rosemary? I think I did. I'm missing one. Oh, Nancy, I just saw your comment. We tighten up. Yeah, when we're grieving. That is absolutely correct. Sorry, I just got a little distracted there. Anyway, so yeah, so On Guard is incredibly powerful for supporting our immune system. Anytime someone's getting sick around me, I'm diffusing On Guard. I'm putting it on the bottoms of my feet, up and down the back of my spine, and I'm also taking it internally. So yes, it's a great support for seasonal threats, supporting the immune system in so many words, but it's also an amazing oil from an emotional perspective in supporting feelings of vulnerability. So if you feel like, I don't know, either people or events are kind of climbing into your bubble of comfort zone, okay, and you're feeling a little vulnerable because there's different people coming at you or different situations, maybe leaving you to feel a little bit claustrophobic or vulnerable in your emotional sphere. On Guard is a great oil. You can take it internally, you can put it on topically, you can diffuse it to help you work through feelings of vulnerability so you become more confident and more sure of yourself. So it's so interesting, again, to see how the physical relationship of the oil kind of makes sense with the emotional aspect of the oil. So you're protecting yourself against vulnerability. You're also protecting yourself physically from the environment. So experiment with these different ideas. I'm just giving you a couple ideas with some oils that hopefully you already have in your stash that you can use. These are some of the top 10 essential oils that most people use in their home. So hopefully you can start to experiment with some of these different ideas to see what happens for you, because I can share all of this on a slide deck, on an online presentation, but ultimately you all have to have your own experience. So I ask you now, we asked the question earlier, what do you want to weed out? Okay, what kind of beliefs do you want to get rid of? I'm not good enough. I don't have the knowledge or the know-how to do this, or I mean, there's so many negative things we tell ourselves from day to day. So I want to ask you now, what relationship, what emotions do you want to plant in your mind, heart, and gut that are new and fresh? So instead of saying I'm not good enough, I'm enough for now, I'm enough, you know, something that you believe, but creating affirmations or new beliefs that that will create ultimately better health. Oh, I'm gonna skip over this for now. Hold on one second. Okay. This slide deck is part of a different class I taught, and I really want to keep it to the essential oils today. So I forgot to remove those slides. So let's go back to that belief. So let's say that the common belief you want to weed out is, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be this person's friends. I'm not good enough to start this business. I'm not good enough for a promotion. There's a lot of that I'm not good enough in our society because we're constantly comparing ourselves to the people around us, okay? If you consume any amount of social media, you may already know that social media can really quickly change your mood and your ability to look at yourself with confidence into a space of more of that vulnerability. So you need to slather on the On Guard before you get on social media. So to protect yourself from those vulnerable feelings. But let's say our I'm not good enough feeling, we want to replace that with something believable, okay? Something that is a slight improvement from I'm not good enough. Because if you're not feeling good enough, it's a pretty big leap to say, I'm the best in the whole wide world. Everybody should want my product or service. I should get this promotion. Everybody loves me. It's too much of a leap to go from here to there. You can't get there from here. You know, if you're feeling sad and depressed, you have to go for that moment by moment support of what's a slightly better emotional feeling. So here's some different oils that could support that slightly better feeling. Okay. So I'm not feeling good enough. If I look at this wheel, and this is an emotional support wheel, I'm not feeling good enough. I'm probably somewhere in this zone of feeling insecure, okay? Maybe even a little fearful, discouraged. So I'm somewhere in this sphere, right? Somewhere in this upper left-hand quadrant of the wheel. So I'm gonna move my new emotion from I'm not good enough to I have the ability to move forward through my day with grace. I don't know. I'm kind of, if you guys have a better, a better one, I'm kind of doing this on the fly with this example, but you want to come to some slightly better affirmation or statement about yourself, and then use the essential oil that's dictated by either a mint, a citrus, or a floral. So these are the three categories in which you're going to likely find the best physical emotional response. So if I'm feeling insecure, I'm probably going to want to stick with my minty oils. If I'm feeling more on the discouraged end, I'm probably going to start to move into my citrus oils. On the opposite side of the wheel, if I'm feeling discontent or bitter, my herby, grassy oils are going to be more appropriate for me. So let's just stick with my example. I'm going to use either peace or motivate. Both oils would be appropriate for the I'm not good enough feeling. So I'm going to put those oils on topically on the spaces that my intuition draws me to. Typically for me, it's my heart and my wrists and sometimes the bottoms of my feet. And then I'm also going to put some minty citrus oils in my diffuser. So using Motivate is an easy way to do it for the person who doesn't want to mix their own blends. Motivate already has minty and citrus oils in it. So I might just throw that in the diffuser and help support that new belief about myself that's slightly better than I'm not good enough. And then day by day, we can start to climb out of that hole of depression or anxiety, whatever it is that's causing the sad feelings, the stressful feelings, the feelings that are unpleasant, to slowly climb out of that hole using the oil and giving ourselves a new belief that's slightly better than the day before. So when I've worked with patients who are experiencing depression or anxiety, I know innately that that's when I look at them from that function of mind, body, spirit, I know that I can help support them through some use of essential oils, but I'm also going to support their gut health by giving them ideas for healthy food to nourish their digestive system, by encouraging enough sleep, by encouraging some movement to help the blood flow and to help deliver nutrition to the body through movement. To strengthen the muscles. It's a whole body perspective. So I'm not saying that essential oils are going to cure feelings of sadness or going to cure you of unpleasant feelings, because those emotions are meant to be felt. We're all supposed to feel sad sometimes. We're all supposed to feel these unpleasant feelings. So the oils are just another adjunct to a full functional whole being by giving us a tool to help pull us slightly out of that depth of despair that we might be experiencing, or that feeling of anxiety that might be associated with our lifestyle or maybe our diet too. So we're correcting things from a holistic view. I hope, again, this is making sense. So I love this diagram, and if you guys want to access it, you literally just go to Google and you can type in doTERRA emotional wellness wheel, and you're going to get a PDF graphic of this. They also have it on their website, and of course, if you can't find it, you can just shoot me a text or an email and I'd be happy to send it along to you. But I really love this because just as fast as I have the emotion, I can look up the oils. I can, again, see the emotion. I'm not feeling interested. I'm feeling bored. I'm going to grab my passion essential oil, the inspiring blend. I'm going to diffuse that and see what happens. So some of you have these emotional aromatherapy oils. They come in either the pure essential oil. So these are undiluted. So they're probably best used right in the diffuser. And you can also purchase these emotional aromatherapy oils in the pre-diluted touch roller balls, which is pretty cool. That way you can throw them in your purse. And if you're somebody on the emotional wheel who tends to, oops, I'm sorry. I don't know how to go backwards. Oh, there we go. If you're someone on this emotional wheel who, tends to feel very apathetic a lot of the time, maybe all you need is Motivate. You don't need the whole collection, but the whole collection is nice to have. You can keep it in a little case, keep it in your purse, keep it at your bedside, but you can buy the oils both in their fully concentrated form or a diluted form that's safe for direct topical application. Any questions? Anybody okay? Just checking out the chat to make sure nobody is lost. So it's important to, again, I'm getting ahead of myself with these slides, to nourish yourself not only through the use of through the use of essential oils, but also to nourish yourself by staying well hydrated, doing mindful exercise and movement, finding time for rest, possibly meditation and prayer, and eating clean, which is something that I think is pretty broad. Eating clean means something different for just about everyone. As I mentioned in the very beginning of this presentation, we are actually more bacteria than we are human cells. And eating clean is not only eating clean for our human cells, but it's also eating clean for our bacteria, which really are very different for every individual on this planet. Everybody's got a slightly different or very different microbiome or kind of collection of bacteria that reside in our gut, on our skin, in our lungs, I mean, everywhere in our body. So how we eat can actually feed and nourish those bacteria in ways that are way beyond the scope of this talk today. But I just wanted to mention that eating clean is a bigger topic than what this online presentation can share with you today. So one of the things I had mentioned about doing the affirmation, going from I'm not good enough to, I am good enough for this moment, is an important thing that we can do with our essential oils, as is doing affirmations with our essential oils. So for those of you who do meditation or prayer or any kind of journaling, I always encourage people to find their favorite essential oil or blend. Maybe you get it from this. Maybe you pick out one of your favorite oils as one of these emotional blends, or maybe it's just lavender, or it's, I'm looking at my little stash. I have some wild orange. doTERRA actually has a new emotional support system called Adaptive, which has copaiba and it's blended with fractionated coconut. It has wild orange, lavender, copaiba, spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum. And this particular blend is great for prayer or meditation because it has a high concentration of a chemical constituent called linalool. Okay, Linalool. Linalool is found in high concentrations in the oils that are in this blend, and that supports calm, relaxation, peaceful feelings, again, through that physical chemical reaction process, not just the emotion that you bind with the memory of the smell. That's what helps to root and anchor the biochemistry, but just the actual physical smell coming out of this bottle right now is making me feel a little bit happier. Okay, it's a really, really nice scent, but it doesn't have to be a blend. It can just be a simple oil. It can be anything that you have in front of you. Okay, it can be a blend you made. But if you start to do your prayer, your meditation, your journaling, whatever self-care practice that really helps you feel better with and in conjunction of those oils, you can actually use the oils outside of that meditation activity, outside of that prayer, and get an emotional response that connects the memory of the smell to the memory of the emotion you had while you were doing the meditation, the prayer, or the journaling. Does this make sense to everybody? So you can start to connect essential oils with positive aspects of your day. So maybe it's a morning routine. You get up and you have your coffee or your tea and you listen to gentle music. Throw some essential oils in the mix because, again, it helps to anchor that biochemistry and helps support those emotions of happiness from the very onset of the day. So it's easier for your day to create momentum and more good things to come in. Okay, I feel like I'm explaining things in a roundabout way a little bit today. So thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Okay, this is just a a quote by the Neurosculpting Institute, Lisa Wimberger: "You fill a bucket drop by drop, you clear your mind thought by thought, you heal yourself moment by moment." And I love this quote because it emphasizes the importance of baby steps as we gain health in our body. It doesn't happen overnight. But then connecting the essential oils in here, it's moment by moment that we can use our oils to help bring ourselves into a more positive emotional state. Again, you don't have to go leaps and bounds with your emotions, and using the essential oils to help you go, you know, from despair to joy. That's a pretty big leap. But if you can go from despair to fear, even that's that's an emotional upgrade. Going from despair to fear is an actual emotional upgrade. And then from fear, you can move to peace. And then from peace, you can move to joy. And you can see how you start to climb up that meter of emotions, moment by moment, thought by thought. So here's a couple blends, and this is, I think, one of the last slides of the slide deck. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, or if you want to write something down, I'll leave this screen up for a moment. But I really love these two blends. These are blends you can make very easily with a roller bottle. And I make roller bottle blends all the time as gifts for friends. In fact, for my daycare school teachers, I'm going to make them both an essential oil blend, kind of unique to them. But I find that making my own blends is not only super easy, but it gives me some creative outlet to kind of explore with the different essential oils and how they blend together. Because when you blend lavender with orange, it makes a completely new aromatic scent that smells good, but it also can help support the emotional state. So liquid calm is one that I like to make for people who are really stressed out, who need some grounding, balance. They have a lot of overwhelming feelings. So pretty much everyone that lives in the United States of America could use some liquid calm. But it's simply taking a 5 ml bottle, and I have it up if you can see my video. A 5 ml bottle is about this size in relative nature to my hand. By contrast, a 10 ml bottle is a little bit taller. So the recipe I have here is for the smaller bottle, but you simply place 5 drops of Serenity, Balance, and Vetiver. Okay, Vetiver is a grass oil. It comes from the grasses in Haiti. Balance is a blend, great for grounding, and Serenity is a restful blend. Oftentimes people use it for sleep, but it can be incredibly calming. So you put 5 drops of each in your little roller bottle, top it with some fractionated coconut oil. I find it's really easy to get my coconut oil right from doTERRA, but a lot of the natural health stores have lots of different carrier oils. You can use fractionated coconut oil. I also have some avocado oil because one of the teachers at my daughter's school is allergic to coconut. So it creates a little bit of a challenge, but at least I have another carrier oil to use as needed if there are allergies. So there's just something to keep in mind, not something that was on my radar until we had this teacher, but some people who are allergic to coconut, you may want to avoid using coconut oil as a carrier. But lots of different carriers: jojoba oil, almond oil, there's many different ones out there. You'll fill that baby up and then it's ready to rock, and you can give it away as a gift or you can keep it for yourself. Just roll it on your pulse points, the areas I explained earlier, and experience that calming effect. Pure Bliss is more of an uplifting, happy, when you need a mood boost. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and liquid calm, but if you're feeling kind of like just kind of apathetic and discouraged and like, oh my God, maybe you're hitting for me with my business, it's always like, ooh, I'm hitting a block with what creative project I'm going to work on next. So I might diffuse or use a roller bottle mixed with Citrus Bliss and Peppermint. And you could replace Citrus Bliss with any citrus essential oil, tangerine, lime, lemon, orange, I mean, you name it, whatever makes you happy, you can put it in there, mix it with a little bit of peppermint. And that is a very uplifting, happy smell. So again, I like to put that one, the Pure Bliss, on the back of my neck. So you have, and I didn't mention this when I mentioned topical application, but you have these 2 little areas, and then I got to wrap this up because we're hitting an hour, but you have these 2 areas on the back of your neck it's called your occipital triangle. So there's a vessel that runs, you have blood flow on that back area of your neck. So application of the oils to this back of the neck space, just right around your hairline, is a great place for application. The oils are, they're absorbed quickly into that brain. Okay, so if you need some oils in your brain stem, which is what I need when I need a mood boost, I put the oils there, and then I can also smell it. So the oils placed on the back of my neck, I also get that aromatic benefit. I can also put more oils on my heart or whatever, or on my earrings. But I don't know, I really like application point on the back of my neck. I do that a lot. I do it kind of instinctively. If somebody passes me an oil or I grab it on my purse, it's like the first place I put it for some reason. So anyway, I hope those recipes are something you can try. There's also a great app you can get, and I don't remember how much it costs anymore. It's been a while since I purchased it, but it's a one-time purchase. It's called Essential Emotions Reference, and you can look up emotion. You can look up by emotion, oil, or body part, and you can, say you have a feeling of betrayal. You're gonna click on that little betrayal, and it's gonna give you essential oils that support that emotion. So this is a pretty cool app if you want to dive deeper. If you don't use your phone and you want a book, I really love this book, Emotions and Essential Oils. This is an older version. I refuse to buy a brand new version every year, but every year they do update it with the new oils that are coming into doTERRA's collection. But this one is the 6th edition. I think they have a 9th edition now. But it goes through every single essential oil. Here, I'm going to stop my share real quick. It goes through every essential oil, and it gives you some background on how the oil supports emotion. So I'm on sandalwood, and this one tends to help us with the negative emotions of feeling disconnected from our spiritual self, feeling empty, overthinking things, feeling materialistic. It helps us become more humble, more devoted spiritually, have more spiritual clarity, so on and so forth. But this is a pretty cool book. You can just get it on Amazon. And then the other book I love is, this one's from Desiree Magandog. It's called I Am Fabulous. And it has a whole bunch of essential oil blends in it that correlate with different emotional support, areas of support. So I love this one as well. This one is not available on Amazon. You have to get it through either oillife.com or aromatools.com. So if you guys need access to those websites, just let me know. But it's just aromatools.com or oillife.com. There's a few others. You could literally go to Google and say, I am fabulous essential oils, and there'll be some different buying options, but it's not one you can get on Amazon, unfortunately. I make blends out of this all the time as gifts, all the time, because they're really complex. Now, you do have to be somebody who has a decent stash of essential oils to use this book, because most of the blends have upwards of 6 to 9 different essential oils per blend. So if you're not quite there yet with your collection, you may wait on that book. But the Emotions and Essential Oils book, if this topic intrigues you, is a fantastic book to keep on hand. So all right, any questions, you guys? Carrie had to bounce out. You guys have no questions? I see a couple more people popped on the line. It's great to see so many of you. I see Gwen and Karen got on the line. So awesome. Thanks for coming, you guys. If you guys are too shy to unmute your line, you can always go to your chat box. You can find the chat box by going to the very bottom of your screen. There's a little chat bubble, and you select that, and you can type in oh, there we got one. Okay. Oh, Nancy asks, what was the name of the adaptive blend you mentioned? Yes. Thank you for asking. That is called Adaptive, without an E on the end. Where did it go? Oh, yep. Adaptive, ADAPTIV. So I'm going to hold it close up to my screen. Adaptive. Now, very cool. And I should have maybe integrated this better into my presentation today, but Adaptive also comes as a supplement. And the supplement's very cool. It has some botanicals in it that help support emotions. I actually have a friend who's coming off her SSRI medication, and she's been using the Adaptive supplement. Okay, has ahi flower and scalarian root, as well as lavender essential oils, copaiba, which copaiba is amazing, has so many good properties, and a couple other, I think wild orange and fennel, again, all high in linalool. So it's an internal capsule. Let me see if I think I have it in my stash over here, but it's a fantastic oil for supporting feelings of deep sadness or anxiety. I have to be careful about my language. But if you're feeling anxious feelings or severe sad feelings, Adaptive has been really transformational for people. It's a brand new product to doTERRA. They just came out with it at convention. I'm going to see if I have it in here. My Adaptive, it might be in my other stash outside the other room. I have oils all over my house. So anyway, but Nancy, I can send you more information if you're interested. But it's basically Adaptive, like you spelled it in the chat, without the E. Any other questions, you guys? You're welcome, Nancy. And I'm curious to hear from you guys. Are you guys using oils for emotional support? And if so, which ones? All right, if you're not answering, I assume you're not using oils for emotional support yet. And so I hope this class was helpful for you. Again, it's all about using your internal guidance system, as well as some of the charts that I showed you, that emotional wellness chart I put on the screen to help guide your experimentation with the oils. I love the doTERRA's emotional aromatherapy line just because it makes it so easy to identify the emotion and use the oil that's connected to it. But I've found that after using the oils for so long, that I've kind of figured out which ones I need in the moment, just based on, I just kind of use my gut feeling, my instinct, my gut brain, if you will, and sometimes my heart brain, which isn't always the logical brain, right? That the logical brain uses the chart, which is perfect. It's awesome. It's very useful. But you might be inspired to look at your oil collection and be like, you know what? I'm going to try sandalwood today because I just want to see what happens, and just follow that. I think it's important to ride that wave a little bit and see how it helps you. If you don't necessarily love strong scents, I know one of you on the call had mentioned to me in a prior conversation that the aroma, even if they're therapeutic grade oils, the aroma can be a little too intense. So if you want to use oils for emotional support, you absolutely can, by applying the oils to your feet and putting on socks. Okay. I had a girl at the hospital do that, and she really found support from that, because we can't have, it was like a fragrance-free hospital, but she put balance on her feet every morning. She noticed a difference with her emotions. So if scents are a little bit overpowering to you, you can always apply the oils to your feet. You can also take them in a veggie cap, take them internally in a veggie cap. I don't have a veggie cap right here. I have tons of stuff everywhere, but a veggie cap is a great way to take the oils, and you don't really smell the scent so much. And then Nancy has one more question. Are the large roller balls double the smaller one? Yes, totally. Yes, that's a great question. So those, I should probably just pull it up again, but those recipes that I sent you for 5 ml bottles, yeah, you just double it for a 10 ml. So if you guys can get these on your account, these amber colored 10 ml, 10 milliliter roller bottles, you can get them through on your next LRP order, on your next standard order, doesn't matter. You can buy these from doTERRA. They don't have the little ones that I showed you before. They only have the 10 ml. So if you just wanted to use those, you could double the recipe. Yes. If you like the smaller ones, you can get those on Amazon. You can get them at Aromatools again. I like to get them from Aromatools when I have a big enough order for free shipping, because I know the quality is really good from Aromatools. I've had a lot of hit or miss orders from Amazon. Sometimes the quality is like really junk and the roller ball doesn't work, and I don't know, they just feel really cheap to me. So I like to order from Aromatools when I'm making a bigger order. So if you have another oiler in your community or a friend who likes to make their own stuff, you could go in with them. You could try Amazon. I'm not saying all of it's bad. It's just hit or miss a little bit because there's so many different suppliers. I know you didn't ask that question, Nancy. I'm answering it though. Any other questions? Those are good questions. And if you're lazy, like I can be, you can buy rollers from doTERRA. doTERRA has a whole bunch. You can buy a lot of different oils that are already pre-diluted. So this is peppermint. It's already pre-diluted. I keep this one in my car. Another emotion that I think very few of us are immune to is road rage, right? Some of you in Hawaii, I think you know what I'm talking about with the Honolulu traffic. Nancy, not so much for you. You don't have to, but I know the weather can make some road rage happen, I guess, all the snow. But if you deal with road rage, peppermint's a great oil for that. I keep this in my car, and if I'm just feeling frustrated by the traffic, I'll roll it on. Again, it just kind of uplifts me. Take some deeper breaths. Peppermint opens my airways. I feel a lot better. So just another tip for you. Trying to think if there's anything else. There's so many oils. I could dive in and talk for another hour about the different oils that I can use for emotional support. But I think the best thing you can do to take the next step is either get that app I mentioned, the Essential Oils and Emotions app, or go on to Amazon and pick up the Emotions and Essential Oils book. Okay. I think those are two great steps if this is something that intrigues you. I actually bought a couple other books last year. I have them. Yeah. I bought a couple of books last year about Aroma Heal 1 and Aroma Heal 2. Simple techniques to support emotional healing with essential oils. So they actually have exercises in these two books that help you, like this one is like setting an intention and then using the oils as part of the intention setting. It has a little bit of EFT in there. It tells you how to do some EFT. So it's a cool book. It has some different ideas on how you can connect your essential oil use with some of your other natural emotional healing processes. So I think it's always fun to use them in combination. I've seen acupuncturists use oils in combination with their meridian work. I've seen physical therapists diffusing oils while they're working with their patients. It's really cool how you can support a person's emotions. Dentists, think about how much fear and anxiety goes into a dentist visit. A lot of dentists will use essential oils, diffuse them if the patient's okay with it, to help support those feelings of anxiety that can often be related to an office visit at the dentist. So if you have dental anxiety, just take one of your favorite emotional support oils. I love Citrus Bliss. It has like a little vanilla accent to the citrus oils. It really will help you calm down, feel happier as you walk into a place that might inspire some anxious feelings. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I'm past the hour mark, so I will end it here. But if you do have any more questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out. And then I will be posting the recording to my Facebook page, as well as sending the recording out to those of you who registered for the event. So expect that in the next, either by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm going to give myself a little extra space. I might do it today too, but I'll be sending that email out within the next 24 hours. All right, you guys, have a great day. And I'm going to check one more time. No comments, no questions. All right, I'll let you guys go and reach out as needed. Okay, bye. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.